Welcome to Repair. Thanks for joining me for another repair video. So tonight we are repairing a 13-inch HP Stream. It's one I've recently bought off of eBay. It needs a little bit of work. So on first glance it does come with power and everything. It does power on absolutely fine, but the screen is damaged and it needs a new battery. The screen I'm not going to cover in this video. I'm going to cover that in another one for future, which I'll link in the description. In this one, it just needs a new battery basically. It's complaining when you turn it on that the battery is not holding sufficient charge. Even if you leave it on charge for an hour or two, it will not boot. It just won't turn on, gives you no life at all. So first thing we're going to do, we need to remove the blue rubber feet at the back of the laptop. There's 4 of them we need to remove. 5 of them we need to remove. The easiest way to do it is a pair of tweezers into each one. Once you've done that, the next thing, which I'm not going to make you sit all the way through, is to remove all of the screws from the bottom. It will take about 5 minutes. It is just a really painful job. Don't worry if they don't come out. We can flip the laptop over at the end, which will just drop anything out that's stuck. As long as they're loose, they will release from the machine. So again, I'm just putting them off to one side so they're all secure. I've got a magnetic mat that just sits over there. Once you've done that, next thing to do, get yourself a pry tool of some description, preferably a plastic one if you've got one so you don't damage the machine, and just carefully pry all the way around the outside, taking care when you do the right and left edges because of the ports. You don't want to damage anything that's there. So again, it will take about 2 minutes. Occasionally as well, along the edge closest to the screen there are 3 or 4 little blue clips. It is quite common that you will break one. There's not a lot you can do about it. It doesn't really affect anything though. When you put the machine back together, it will hold absolutely fine because it's screwed in anyway. It's more just to keep everything in one place when you're putting everything back. So as you lift it up, be careful. There are 3 ribbon cables. One's connecting the power button, one's connecting the keyboard, and one's connecting the trackpad. Each one has a little clip that you just flip up and pull the cable out. So as you can see, it's a little bit tricky to film and show you, but just disconnect one. So the first one we're going to do is the ribbon. Once we've done that one for the keyboard, we're going to then do the trackpad. And then finally, we're just going to do the one for the power button in the back. Now you could leave this tilted up against the screen while you work on it, but for these purposes I'll move it out of the way. So the next thing to do is disconnect the battery. It's just literally the connection pulls towards you. It's not a complicated thing at all. They can be a little bit fiddly to get out of the way, so just go really steady. Again, I have used a pair of tweezers on this. In an ideal world, you'd use plastic ones just so you don't electrocute yourself. Next thing to do, you want to remove the 8 or 10 screws, I forget, that hold the battery in. Again, it doesn't take very long, it's just a bit fiddly. A magnetic screwdriver like the one I'm using does help, because it will lift the screws out with it. These ones aren't actually too bad though. One thing to mention while we're here, the edge closest to me on the battery, there is a little lip that sort of catches under. When you go and put the battery back in, once you've replaced it, you need to make sure you do that edge first. The mistake I made was I didn't actually reseat that edge first, so I ended up having to take it all apart and reseat the battery and do it again. So that edge just needs to be sat under and then it will screw down absolutely fine. So again, just pop your 8 screws back in. As far as I remember, it doesn't really seem to matter what goes where. There is no different size screws here, they are all the same. And as you can see, they all are, each screw hole is marked with a little A and an arrow, so you know where you're putting them in. Some of the holes aren't actually holes, it's where they can pass through for the top case to be fitted back onto the laptop. So again, once that's all done, battery's reconnected, and then you need to do the reverse of what you did the first time. So reconnect the power button first of all, and then the keyboard and the trackpad. I have already flipped the little catchy things up in advance so that you can get the cables in a bit easier, and then you can flip them down. It is a bit fiddly trying to film and show this at the same time. So once you're done there, drop the top back down, and what you'll need to do is just push very firmly down along each edge, and you will hear it click as all the little catches clip into place. So just work your way around nice and slowly. You'll need to go back over it a few times because they won't all clip in initially. As I said, when I did it this first time, it wasn't completely flush because the battery wasn't in fully, so I did actually have to go back in and open it back up, undo everything, and then set the battery back down, and then it was fine. You will see in a minute that the screen is fixed. As I say, this is because I've got another video to follow on about repairing the screen on this one as a separate thing. So once we power it on, there's 2 errors. One is relating to the date and time being wrong, and that's because we've taken the battery out. So the CMOS, the BIOS CMOS is chucking an error. So again, I do correct that date and time, and that solves that one. The second one is complaining about the fact the battery is really low, but once it's had a good charge over the course of 3 or 4 hours, it's absolutely fine. Turns on fine, boots up. You'll see now it comes into Windows, and then we can shut it down and then get the final screws and things in place. As I said, so you don't have to watch this, I have sped it up. So again, pop all the screws back in, do them up. You need to put all of the little blue rubber feet and the little pads that cover the screws at the back in place. Okay, it takes about 5 minutes to do it because they are a bit of a pain to get in, and the feet have to go in a very specific order, so just look at the little notches on the bottom. Anyway, if you liked this video and you found it useful, please subscribe to the channel, drop us a like, and ask any questions that you want to ask, and I will do my best to get back to you and try and answer as many as I can. Sometimes it does take me a little bit of time, but I will always come back to you. Alright, thanks for watching.